I'm just gonna set it up. Oh, that's what you wanted. Names. I'm Alexis.
I'm Mary.
And I'm Ruth.
But we don't know what we're talking about yet.
The first question.
We're just going through them? Like
Yeah.
that? Okay.
I think that's what we're doing. Yeah.
What should we restart with our names? Or no,
I'll just cut it.
Okay.
Alright. So, first question is, responsive teachers must care for the students as culturally located individuals. How will you make learning relevant? How we connect learning experiences in the classroom to students' lives outside the classroom. So, I kind of talked about including CRP into the curriculum. So, just incorporating all cultures, backgrounds, identities, ethnicities into the curriculum so students feel seen and welcomed. Because what we learn in school is essentially to be applied like in the real world. So we want to, as teachers, we want to establish that within the classroom, it undermines how important education is and why we're teaching students certain concepts. And I just talked about like academic, social, emotional, and diverse learning all happening within a classroom, and kids are placed in an atmosphere for 8 hours a day, 5 times a week. So, which means they are gonna grow comfortable, meaning as teachers we need to take action to serve them beyond just academics.
Yeah, that's kind of a good point. I thought of it like the first part, I kind of put more talking about like relating to real world scenarios and like interests. I feel like it makes it a lot more fun if the students have like, even like in math questions or like examples that you're using like actual things they like or their actual names. I feel like that's always fun. And like is a good tool to like call on students who might not be paying attention in that moment, or like gain their attention because they're like excited about it. Same with like stories, like bringing in like reading stories or whatever, bringing in stories with like topics that they know about or that they're interested in, or using those topics for like passages and stuff. Yeah, and then I also kind of talked about like making them feel safe and supported by kind of making it like a teamwork environment, so they have a part in the classroom and how we run it, and then just kind of checking in with them and getting to know them. So that they know that like you care for them and that you're here for them and things like that. So that is super important.
For sure. I went the same way as you, talking about current events and real world situations. And I kind of put into the like definition of like irrelevant. We want things to be happening in real time, and then talking about the why we teach it for the students. So if they know that they're learning something, they're more willing to learn. And also when teaching like real world things, they can connect that to their outside school life. So if we're talking about a storm, they can look outside and be like, oh yeah, I learned about storm in class today, and I know a fact about it, and things like that.
I feel like that's a good point to like, especially during like winter when like the first snowfall, like you know it's gonna snow, or like it snowed last night or it might snow this week, like bringing that up and talking about it, because I remember like all throughout middle school, even though it snows every year, everyone still got so excited. So like things like that, kind of like you said, like talking weather, because that's like everyone's experiencing it and they're noticing it and living it. So that's an easy thing to bring in.
And it kind of like makes the conversation go a little further because like students already have prior knowledge to it.
Yeah. I agree.
How can we encourage students to bring who they are to learning interactions? Kind of along the same lines. I kind of talked about like going from CRP to CSP, like culturally sustainable pedagogy. Just like reminding students that their identity is who they are and there's no need to like acclimate to the dominant culture that's in the school, and culture is to be celebrated.
For sure. I like also learning to kind of talk about how if students don't know the things, it's our job to teach it to them, and like we can't expect that they know it. So if we teach it to them and encourage them to also just stay as who they are, it kind of like brings a middle end to like they know what they're expected to do, but also they can just be themselves.
I agree. I also kind of talked about like allowing them to be themselves in a way where it's like, oh, you're encouraging them when they're answering questions, or you're furthering their thinking when they're answering, but also like when we're talking about like the cultures and things, like bringing in like decorations or books or things like that to like encourage them to talk about like what they do at home and how they celebrate certain things, because yeah, some students like they only know what they've lived, especially because they're so young. Like in elementary school, they only know like, oh, my family celebrates Christmas, so that's the right way to celebrate. But they don't really realize that there's like a lot of other ways to do things. So
I feel like another thing that I kind of went into is talking about how there's no right or wrong answer for like open-ended questions. So like letting students know that whatever they answer is whatever it is, and like it's okay if they don't know the answer, and it's just us helping them through it, just like you said, like maybe changing the question a little bit and things like that. And then also letting them know that it's okay to be wrong, because that's how we learn.
I think I added kind of some of that like later on. I think in question 3. Like talking about like what does success look like and things like that. Like it's not just like, oh, yes or no, but sometimes it's like, oh, it's just whatever you think, like, or it's just success is you doing your best today, even if it's not like getting every question right. Because I feel like that's a big issue or like struggle with schools. So like having like test goals and things like that, and like encouraging them that that's not the only way that success looks good.
I feel like success is determined by the individual. Like success can be big or small. It could be getting an A on an exam, or it can be that student like focusing the whole day, but like the teacher knows that like they're having like troubles at home. So that can be a success in itself. So I think it really depends on the person, and we shouldn't like teach students that like success is this, because it's on a scale.
For sure. Going off of you two, I like to put it as success is also if they did better than they previously did. So they were able to grow from their, not like mistakes, but like just grow and get a better score, or grow and do better in their actions. That's successful.
Yeah, I feel like that goes along with like goals too, like classroom goals, individual goals, like whatever it is. Like showing them that like, okay, hey, like maybe if the student's struggling with their behavior, like our goal today is to not interrupt me while I'm teaching. And then if they meet that goal, you like tell them they're being successful. Like you're doing a great job. Like you did good today. Like I don't know. Sometimes rewarding them, but not all the time.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that also goes in with like showing empathy, like the last part of question one, showing empathy and care, and like things like that. Like encouraging them is a great way to do that. Like show them that like you care, and you're like, I know that for you, it's not getting 100% on the test. It's just getting through the day, doing better than you did yesterday. So like. I think that's a good way.
I have like a student in my class who sleeps for most of the day, and like if he's able to stay awake and like do most of the work, that's successful for him. Because most of the time he's not really doing anything, and my teacher does a really good job like being next to him and letting him know like, oh, you're doing really good right now, you're staying awake and you're actually paying attention, and like I think giving those reminders and like you said, compliments lets them like want to do better.
Did you have anything for that last?
The success one.
It's the last part of question one, where like show empathy, care, respect, passion, patience, perseverance, and belief.
I think that's question 2.
Oh yeah, it is success.
I mean, that does hard.
It does. Technically.
Sorry guys,
No,
I'm
you're
getting
good.
us all mixed up.
No, you're good. Last part of question 1 is talking about like kind of the same thing, like how would you represent the culture in the classroom, which we talked about so many times. But so like diverse books in the classroom, integrating culture and different backgrounds into the curriculum, signs around your classroom, like all are welcome, stuff like that. If you have anything else like different, but
I think it's just like easy to incorporate that in like English and language arts lessons.
yeah,
Like that's like a subject where you can read about anything, you can write about anything. So choosing like topics wisely, like oh maybe this week or this month we're gonna learn about all the different cultures. Is like a good way, easy way of like doing that without like spending a day like talking about one culture and not talking about anything else. I don't know.
I kind of want something similar where we do have a day where we learn about the different cultures, but the students will draw the flag, will do their own research, and also like write facts about it or anything important that they want to share, and then that's hung up on the room so that other students can see like different cultures.
That's a good idea of like getting them to contribute to like the classroom.
It's cool. And they get exposed to like the different cultures as well.
Yeah. That's fun too, like exploring like one topic too and then having them like talk about it with other students is always good. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
high expectations. How will we do that? So first one is mining information from students. I just said like establishing like a positive reinforcement system is good when like students are answering questions like, oh, I noticed that Abby had a great point, and then the person next to her is like, ooh, I want to like have a compliment. So it's kind of like ripple effect, and it just sets the tone for the next time a student answers a question. Also, just like rephrasing the question is always a good idea. I feel like I do that a lot to activate prior knowledge.
I agree. I think like I said more like asking like questions, like when you go around and when you're having a discussion, like, oh, well, how did you get that? Or what made you think of that? Even if it's like something simple, to just get them to think deeper rather than like, oh, like 4 times 2 is 8. And it's like, well, how did you get that? Like, how do you know that? Do you have it memorized? Like, did you have to work it out? Like, tell me more. Which, I don't know. We'll get them to like at least start like talking about it in some way. So,
I just quickly brought up your math presentation.
what kind of presentation?
The one. You got the answer.
Oh, shit.
Anyways.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's because no one was there to ask us, how did you get that?
Exactly.
Why did you get that?
Yeah.
Real life example there.
Yeah.
It is, for sure. I kind of talked about how there's always one big question that we like want to answer during class, and instead of just asking that, breaking those into smaller questions so that students feel more comfortable to answer. A lot of times they like won't answer if they don't know the answer to it. So making it smaller and more manageable for them to answer will encourage more students to talk and like give answers. So yeah.
I don't know. I think even like talking to each other or like for the upper elementary grades, like having like a writing reflection time where it's like, alright, answer these prompts, like why did you, like what did you do during class, how did you get that result, like things like that. I feel like it's just like getting them to like think critically. I also mentioned in this part that a good way is like having a student be an expert on a topic, like how you were just saying with the culture thing, so that they can really get like into a topic and then like explain it to other people. And then you can ask them, because like they're the expert, and play like, what was the word you said? Like,
Game.
no, like that you don't know anything.
Oh. Oh, so the student asks you?
No, like,
Not you, but
no, like, no, not like you're being like, oh, I don't know anything, so like you need to tell me. It's not like a game. Like you can play like,
yeah, my mentor teacher was
like
that.
pretend that you like don't know anything. Like obviously you know things, but like talking
yeah.
as if you're like a kindergartner who's never heard of like that culture before or whatever it is. Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing that.
How do we demonstrate assertiveness for expectations? I think our professor really nailed this down as far as like creating those standards at the beginning of the year or like the class promises. So doing that for sure. Kind of just like reinforcing like we're all here in school to learn and to grow our brains. And this is important. I'd say for like sometimes you can throw in like, hey, you need to know this for the next grade, and that's not really like a good way to manage like expectations. But I feel like I've heard that before. Or maybe coming up with some reward system that motivates them.
I think like a really good way, like I've seen my teacher get the students to like focus, like during a certain part of the day. She's got like one of those little jars or whatever on the whiteboard, and she puts stars in it. And when it's full, they get like, they just had a movie day and now they're working to a PJ day. So doing like that is like, okay, we're really having a tough time right now. Like no one's focusing, being like, I was gonna like I really want to put this star in the jar for
Mhm.
our EJ day. Like help me do that. Cause she also used like clipping up and clipping down, and I just like don't think that really does anything. Like it doesn't discourage the students who are clipped down from clipping down further. They just they clip down further every day. Like they're still yellow at the end of yesterday and today. Like I don't think it really does much. And then the students who clip up are it's always the same students at the
Right.
top, you know. So it's kind of like I don't really know what the goal is there, but
I remember.
I don't think that's like the best way of doing it.
Yeah.
So she has like the clips fully showing who is doing good now. You know, they just
Well, they have their numbers on it, so it doesn't have their names, but it's like, and I haven't seen students get to, like at the bottom, it's like, teacher call home to parent, or like, whatever that says. And I haven't seen anyone click past, like, watch your behavior. So, I don't know, but I've also never seen anyone click all the way to the top. But I'm only looking at it, so maybe. But, yeah, I don't know. It's always like, and it's not very consistent, but I'm also like, she has been teaching for like 35 years. So, like,
is she older-ish?
kinda. She's like, I think she's got a son, like, in high school. So she's been, like, she started teaching like elementary, but she's like, I don't know. I feel like this is kind of like, it's like unless you're in a classroom and you know your students, and you like learn from like your mistakes, it's kind of hard to know exactly what you're gonna do, like realistically.
for sure. That's why, like, I think just setting those expectations about like behavior, organization, work ethic in the beginning of the school year, whether you know the students or not, just like when I said no right off the bat, like you're not messing around. Like behavior, organization, like I think is something that you want them to strive for, and like you want them to do it because you love them and you care for them, and like that's why they have these you have these high expectations for them.
I agree. I think coming in hot is good. Be like, oh, try again. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Do you guys think like doing more of like an individual reward versus class reward, like which one do you think might be better?
My ends up doing both.
She does both. Okay.
So the class reward is like she has like they're called like the lucky ducks, like that's their theme of the classroom, and they have like a lucky board in the back. And they all have like a number, so like when someone's doing something good, she'll be like, hey, like Lucy, we'll put your number on the lucky board. So that's like kind of the individual, but she also has like other individual rewards. But if like the whole class doing good, they'll put their room number on the board, and then they get like a prize.
That's fun. I remember what my teacher did last year with individual rewards. It was like a ticket type of system, I think. And the students, I feel like did really good. Like she would bring them like one treat of whatever they wanted, and they loved it. I don't know. This year, I guess they don't really have like individual rewards outside of maybe getting to moves like flip up, if that counts. But they love the class rewards.
That's good.
Yeah.
I would love it too. I thought that like PJ Day, as Joey says.
Yeah. So I don't really know which one I think would be better. I think like both are beneficial.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think like my school right now, they do a whole school thing, but it's like individual, if that makes sense. If a teacher sees you doing kindness and like being respectful to others, you get a beach box. And you use that beach box to buy something in the beach store. And like students love that portion of it, like where they get to buy things. But then also she does like Fun Fridays with this class, and I think they only get to do Fun Friday if they have finished all their work. So like I guess that's like their second full classroom work kind of thing. So I don't know. I feel like it just depends on what kind of students I get.
Yeah.
Like if I have like a whole class that's very disruptive, then maybe doing a whole class reward. But if it's like only a few, individual could also just be fun for sure.
Yeah.
But also reward those who are quiet too.
I think like the class that I'm in now, the first grade class, all like really struggles with staying on task and listening. So like having that whole class reward is helpful. They do like an all school thing too, but it's like you get a key if you're doing well. But it goes towards like your classroom score. So like, and your own teacher can give you the key.
Oh.
So like, I feel like that just, they do not care. Like when they get a key, they're like excited, but like they do not think about it ever. So I feel like that's something that's like, it's kind of like they don't get to see how it's going, and they don't get to see the actual rewards. So like having it to where like it's actually achievable. Like in that little jar, she probably put like 15, 20 stars. So it's like doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
yeah.
How about handling disruptions in the classroom? One thing that my mentor teacher does that I really like is, as far as like little distractions, she'll call that person out and she'll be, is that adding or taking away from people's learning? Which I think is like a very good way to go about it. It's not like negative, and it just kind of like alarms the students as far as like, okay, well obviously it's taken away, so, and then they usually stop. So but I think like more serious disruptions, obviously it depends on the student. It's like a breakdown. I haven't seen that yet, but I would, in a weird way, I would like to because I want to know how it's managed. But I'd say maybe like a one-on-one conversation. But if it's like a different kind of behavior, I have no idea.
I did witness it yesterday.
Oh, perfect.
But like more so like we heard about it and my teacher had to yell at the student for it. He shoved down a crayon and to his friend. And my teacher got really mad at him.
Wait, what did he do?
Shoved a crayon in his friend's mouth.
Oh, how old?
Fourth grade.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And my teacher heard about it after we came to pick them up from specials. And I don't know how the other teacher didn't see it in the room, but he didn't see it apparently. But the students did see it, so my teacher was like asking everybody what happened and things like that. But she did separate the entire class with the two students just to talk with them, and like we moved back into the class. And I think that's something that she did really good on, and like making sure like handling it in that one-on-one conversation way where she's like probing the answer to why he or she did it. And then he got called down to the office, and no phone call was sent home, which I was really surprised. So
No, that's like alarming.
Yeah, I haven't had like that type. Well, actually, I do have one student who's working towards he's still getting testing for an IEP. It probably, because I've been there since Friday, something's probably happened with it, because, like, they're trying to get it done ASAP. But, like, pinching, hitting, like, biting students, like, he's just struggling right now. And my teacher, I think the only thing that works, like, for him that he, like, allows is a reward, but, like, for everything. Like, I've been good for the last 5 minutes, and now I'm on a squishy toy. And she's like, it was only 5 minutes. Like, you have to be good the whole day. And then once he realizes that, he's like, no, like, over it. So, I don't know. She has sent him to the office. He goes with, like, an aide to, like, calm his body, because he is very all over the place. So, he'll do that, like, taking a lap and stuff. And then I've also had a lot of students, like, have emotional, like, behavioral disruptions. So, so, like, having, I don't know, just, like, breakdowns in class. And, like, I try to talk to them a little bit. And because I'm there, like, I can talk to them, but I feel like the teachers, like, don't really like that. Like, both my teachers from last year and this year kind of got, like, frustrated with me for, like, talking to them. I think because, like, then they weren't doing their work. But, I don't know. But, like, taking a lap and, like, pulling off. But it is hard when, like, the student is so, like, all over the place. They're just not in the right space to, like, listen.
Remember, like, in the trauma class, how we talked about addressing the behavior and, like, making sure that we don't say we're disappointed in them, but just their behavior? I think that's something really important to do, because they can bounce back. I'm like, oh yeah, my behavior was wrong. I need to, like, change and fix it. But they can't change who they are.
Yeah.
So, like, if we say, I'm so disappointed in you, that's just, like, very shocking and alarming for the student, and they're just not going to want to go back and learn and just be on their best behavior, because they know that you're disappointed.
That kind of affects, like, the whole, like, classroom environment. Because then they're like, oh, well, she's already disappointed in me.
No fun and fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's a good point.
Encourage and show care to your students. Which is true. We kind of touched on that, but I think just like basics, like truly get to know them. Like, yes, you're their teacher, but they may see you as like their best friend, or like that person that they need to, like, kind of like their therapist, like that person that they don't really have in their life, maybe at home. Like, showing that you are interested in their personal lives and being there for them, recognizing their accomplishments, maybe like if they invite you to like their extracurricular activities, like showing up for that too, like just really getting to know them beyond like academics, because once you establish like that trust with them, then they respect you, and then they're gonna want to listen to you and please you and whatnot.
Sure. I basically said the same thing.
Did you add anything else?
Maybe just like using phrases like, you can do it, you don't even know, you're capable of doing hard things, and just giving them that motivation is a way to encourage them and show that you care.
I kind of said like kind of the same thing we said with behavior, like being like, well, like I don't know, if a student is struggling or something, like allowing them to like, okay, during the next, like during the start of this worksheet or the next lesson or the next day, like whatever it may be, like that they can like start fresh and then it's okay, like you're gonna do great, like encouraging them, like this is a whole new thing, like don't get hung up on what you're struggling with or whatever, because it's okay, we're doing something different. So saying things like that.
For sure.
Should we just move to question 3? Now we already did the last one.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Anything else there in there? Engagement questions. Engagement in question 3. Are we talking about question 3 or question 2 still?
Oh, we can go with question 3, like the first bullet point.
Yeah.
How do we meet students daily, like their class daily? I'd say like beginning of class, agreeing at the door, daily check-in sets the positive tone for them to want to learn. Listening to the students and celebrating their small successes, understanding what matters to them, and then at the end of the day, just like closing up with like a quick recap of what we learned, what homeworks for the night, and like dismissing them on a positive note. That's what it is to me.
Going off of what you said about like the daily check-ins, I did it with like the emotions circle thing, where they like come in and be like, I'm in green zone today or red zone, and then based on like what you see with the whole class, if they're all in the red zone today, maybe doing some kind of fun activity instead of like going straight into schoolwork.
Yeah.
Because I know I wouldn't want to learn if I'm in the red zone.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, getting them ready to learn in the mornings or something off. Yeah. I kind of said a similar thing, like doing check-ins and trying to, even just like trying to check in with them one-on-one, like once a week or once every couple weeks. To be like, hey, where are you at? How are you doing? Things like that. Just so that they know that, like, you care for them and how they're doing and how they're growing and learning. And it matters to you how they feel and if they feel like they're learning that.
Student engagement for learning tasks. It's just the teacher monitoring the students through like observation of responses and like informal checks of understanding. And if they're like not really engaged, like kind of relating the academic topic to something outside, like that's how it would like pique their interest.
I agree. Or even like, I said like for the engagement, like using like a chalkboard splash, like a quick like one sticky note, read it over type of thing, or like an exit questions, or I feel like the one I like the most and I use all the time in my lessons is like thumbs up to side or down, or like 1, 2, 3 fingers, so that I can see like, is everyone paying attention, like to kind of bring them back.
kind of said like if I see them kind of wandering off and just getting off task, I'll do a movement break and just let them get their jiggles out or just anything to reopen their brain so that they are ready to learn. And most of the time, if I like do a call and response, kids like look back at me and like start focusing again. So doing those as well. But yeah, I think doing check-ins like the thumbs up is a really good idea.
I think like a quick like thumbs up or question is good if maybe like 1, 2, like 3 students aren't paying attention, but a brain break is like necessary when like majority of the students are like struggling to be engaged or like not feeling it. Maybe the topic is kind of hard, so they're like not into it. So it's like putting that break in there is like really important sometimes. Like you said.
And you said about like relating it back to real world situations. I think that's a really good idea because most of the times if students know what they're talking about, they're most likely to be more engaged and wanting to learn.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of goes with like, what I said for like the first question, I think. Like bringing up like their name and their interests. I kind of just repeated myself in this question, but like, yeah. Maybe right now having a next question about PayPal demon hunters. That will get their attention. So, and it gets them excited. Like they just want to talk about it all the time. So if they get to talk about it in math, I'm sure like
Sparks more interest.
yes.
We're having,
Oh no, you go first.
we're having a 6-7 week in my class.
Really?
It's just like one little activity with like yesterday math, like the number was 67. Like find how many ways you can make 67 with adding, subtract, multiplying by, and they were like, oh yeah, so engaged.
Yeah.
That was mine. We had the 6-7.
Really?
Yeah, yesterday in my math lesson, one of the answers was, well, the answer was 760, but like when I say it with multiplication, I was like, I put the 6 first and then the 7, and we all were like, 6, 7, and that was my Jen was there too.
Oh really?
Yeah, she laughed. She was like, it was so funny.
That was really. Yeah. Luckily, like, yeah, my students are a little ahead of that, so they don't really know like
Just
all
learning.
the pop culture stuff. Like they don't really care. Sometimes they talk about it, but yeah, it's not like not to where she has to address it, and not to where she has to make it a whole like
No.
math lesson. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. What do you guys think for that? For how to position yourself in the classroom?
Definitely just circulating. Don't stay in the same spot. When students are talking, get close to them. Is it stop?
Yeah. I don't know why a lot of like not mentor teachers, but like teachers in general, when students are doing independent work, they just sit at their desk and like do their own thing.
Well, I feel like as teachers we're standing all day. I mean, if they were gonna eventually like sit and like chill for a bit. But my mentor teacher last year like was like sitting like the entire time.
Really?
Yeah. Basically never like getting up and circulating.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of how it is, like in my head, that's how I think of like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Like the teachers sits, like typically in my school, like all of our teachers just sat there and like barely ever like moved from the front of the classroom, and it was kind of like was just drawing and all like doodling everywhere and like I was not paying attention. So like circulating is so important. As much as you can, even if like you do take a break like during independent work or like I don't know, have them gather at the front of the room and like you can stay in your or like wherever the desk is typically it's in the front of the room. But yeah.
When I do my lesson, I try to not sit in the chair and like have my back facing them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's no point in teaching them. I'm not engaging with the students. It's just me writing and they're copying it down. And most of the students don't do that if I just sit.
I feel uncomfortable sitting in my teacher's chair. I never did.
I've never sat in a chair.
I did it once last semester, but it was because we were like highlighting together, so I had like under the camera. But
It's good.
I know, I just stand there under the camera. Like I don't it's like a violation.
Maybe I shouldn't have sat down.
No,
No,
I think it's fine.
If you're
I just am like what if my teacher like gets so mad at me?
Yeah.
If you're like highlighting or annotating, standing is a little more awkward.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. I don't know, I think circulating is very important, especially for students who like students will fake that they're working for a ways. Like just pretend like, oh, I'm writing and then even like on their computers, like they'll just sit there and I'm like, you have been on that question for like 15 minutes and I'm like, and I've seen fake typing, fake writing. It's been the same question. Like let's get moving.
Yeah.
So like reminding them of that read and like coming up the chair and sitting with them. I think that's as well. Yeah. I think always moving. That's gonna be the key.
For sure. Next question.
Last question. On the same thing, like making time for students to have a check-in, maybe like before recess, before lunch, after, or like independent work time, like pull them outside if they need to, like whatever they tell you, like communicate with families if needed.
For sure. Going off of like the communication, I put like giving parents or guardians an email of what we did in class, and then maybe attaching some materials that they can do at home to like help them. And if like I know some students don't have access to a computer at home, giving them a physical worksheet to let them do it. Things like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think like including parents in ways important. It's kind of hard to like let them know like realistically what's going on or like what all we're doing. But like I don't know if the students are struggling with math or like counting is a big focus or spelling. Just being like, hey, here's our main focus. Like, here are ways that you can work on it. And then like even checking in with the parents and being like, are you able to do work at home? Like, if not, that's okay. But just curious. Yeah, and then checking in with the students too to see how they're feeling about all those things and like if they have worked on it or if they feel like they don't need to, or feel like they're
Or like for students who don't like they have to take care of their siblings at home, maybe not giving them a big load of homework to do and like giving time and class for them to finish it so that they don't have to feel so overwhelmed by like doing all
childhood experiences is unfinished work. Or like spelling test materials.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. But they get time in class to work on stuff like that.
That's good.
So I don't know, have you guys seen a lot of homework or is that just like
I don't know, 'cause I'm their reading group letter, so.
They have 2 homeworks every day, a math worksheet and then reading 20 minutes a day. Which is like manageable.
Which they log.
Oh yeah. And their parents sign.
the reading logs, like the biggest lines, like I was really saying like driver's ed log. But and we did those reading logs and we would get tickets to Six Flags. And my mom would make us fill out like 2 each so that we would get 2 tickets. None of us read. No one in my family is
Yeah.
It was like
Looking back, like,
baseball year 2.
I'm confused why they made that, because obviously they would cheat it. You can't
Yeah.
just tell they're reading.
It's a good idea though. Like at least you're them like,
Promoted.
oh I should read.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna make something up.
Like they would start, like, actually doing it, and then, like, over time they did whatever. And
Yeah. It's always how
that
it
was
was. That was me too. Like I'd be like, alright, yeah. I really am gonna read 75 books in the next 3 weeks. I can do it for sure.
one book down.
You know.
Read all these ICANN books.
Right.
Yeah.
I got through 25 today, guys.
That's really how it was.
Alright. Well, good discussion.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Just come over here.